Hey everyone, I hope you all had a great weekend. Today I'm putting out a video about combating negative self-thoughts regarding where you are right now. A lot of you may have not started your weight loss plan yet, or you may have just started your weight loss plan. And you might be looking at yourself and saying, geez, this just seems like such a long journey. How did I let myself go? Look at all the weight I had to lose. This is going to take forever. And many of you may have joined a gym recently. And so you're looking around and you're seeing the lady doing, what seems to be endless numbers of crunches. And you're saying, my gosh, look at, her physical fitness. I'll never get to that point. Or there's a guy who looks like he's got a 6-pack and is en route to getting an 8-pack. And you're just like this, I mean, my gosh, look at these people, I don't even belong here. I don't fit in. You see the other person on the squat rack, bunch of weight on the bar, and my gosh, look at how strong they are. The person on the treadmill, it looks like, they're running like Superman at 50 miles per hour for nonstop 20 minutes. And you're saying these people, I just can't compete. Every time you see somebody at the gym, um, they look like they're in incredible shape, and it just makes you reflect and say, my gosh, what am I doing? I'm just too far gone. Why am I even here? And this is a real problem. I've been working with patients in psychotherapy for a long time with a large variety of different kinds of issues. And one issue that comes up a lot is this social comparison game. I don't know what the reason is behind this, but it seems so common for us to compare ourselves to people who are doing better than us in any way, right? Look at this person, they're making more money than me. Look at this person, they're in better shape than me. Look at this person, they have this, relationship that seems so much better than any relationship I've had. Um, you know, the social comparison game is a very unhealthy game. And, you know, if we weren't biased to only compare ourselves to people doing better than us, maybe the game would not be so rigged or would not be so unhealthy. Like, in other words, how often do we ever look at other people that are much worse than us? Oh my gosh, I have 50 pounds to lose. There's someone out there that's got 200 pounds to lose. Oh my gosh, I have 200 pounds to lose. There's someone out there who's got 400 pounds to lose. Um, oh my gosh, I'm just starting out at the gym with an exercise program. There are countless amounts of people who aren't even starting out. They're still avoiding and wasting time and not doing what they need to be doing. We don't ever do that. We typically like to compare ourselves to people who are doing better, and it can get to the point where it's debilitating, where we actually it actually makes us want to give up. There are some people that kind of thrive on that. They'll be like, wow, that person's doing better than me. I want to be like that. But most of us don't thrive with the social comparison game. You know, there are certain kinds of words or language that we use that make the social comparison game really unhealthy. Um, like, I need to be, at that level, and it's horrible that I'm not at that level. Or I'll never get to that level. Or I'm completely inferior to that other person. There are so many people that look better than me or are in better shape than me. It's a very unhealthy game, and my focus is to get people away from this social comparison game and start focusing on comparing yourself to yourself in terms of where are you now? Okay. And what are you going to do tomorrow to try to make some progress? And as you're making progress, to look back and appreciate where you've come from, to say, holy cow, this is amazing. A couple months ago, I was 10 pounds heavier. And now not only am I 10 pounds lighter, but my waist has shrunk a little bit and I'm starting to feel more energetic. And that's great. I don't know what the purpose of life is, right? There are philosophers out there that can, certainly talk about this in much more eloquent fashion than me. But I will say this, my opinion is that the purpose of life is to become the best possible version of you, to try to get as close to your true potential as possible, and to make progress. Each and every day, that sounds unreasonable, but to at least be heading in a direction where you're improving. That to me is the purpose of life. Take this piece of clay, right? Us, and try to shape it in the best possible way. Take what we have been given, however we were given, and make ourselves the best version possible. I know no matter how much I work out, no matter how much I train, I will never, ever, ever make it to the Olympics. I know the cap on my potential. And I know there's some people out there, some Oprah Winfrey fans that, would say things like, if you believe in it, you can accomplish it. There's a limit to that. We have limits, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We have limits and that's fine. But I will say this, the large majority of us have not even come close to maximizing our true potential. And that really is the name of the game. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's not about trying to see how many people you can be better than. That's, like this dominant kind of mindset. And if you feel a need to dominate others, if you feel a need to be better than other people, it's probably because you feel this kind of insecurity and you need this kind of like external validation. Look, I'm running faster than that person. I have less body fat than that person. I'm lifting more weight than that person. I'm better than them. That makes me feel good about myself. Well, that's a house built on cards, right? Because as soon as a couple of people come along that are better than you, right, there goes your self-esteem. My point is, don't focus on other people, focus on you. Okay, now with that being said, there's another hurdle. You may say like, okay, I get that. That makes sense. Don't worry about what other people are doing, where other people are in their progress. Focus on me, focus what I need to do. And if I'm making progress, that's great. But Dr. Fields, I am so far behind in this area of weight loss. I mean, I've gained so much weight. And you might say, like, I used to be X amount of pounds and I've gained 60 pounds. You know how far I am away from, my potential with how I used to look and how healthy I was. I have so far to go. And that can be really daunting, right? But if you are on the path, if you are on the journey, you need to really be grateful and you need to thank yourself for being on that journey. And I know it may seem very daunting and like you have a long way to go, but isn't it great that you finally got on the path? Isn't it great that you finally started your weight loss plan? Because it could have been that much longer. I mean, now you've started. Now you can actually estimate, right? How fast you're going to get to your goal. Okay. If you turn on your kitchen sink to a trickle and you put a stopper in the bottom of the sink in the drain, it's going to take a long time for that sink to fill up, but it will fill up. Give it enough time and that sink is going to fill up. And what's my point? That a goal may seem so far away or so grandiose, so big, right? But if you're on the path and that path is leading you to that goal, in other words, you have a certain weight loss goal and you're losing weight each week, even if it's a half a pound, even if you have 70 pounds to go, you are going to get there if you stay on that path. And so here's the other thing to think of. Not only do we engage so often in these unhealthy social comparison games, but we also engage in this unhealthy practice of putting so much emphasis on the distant future. It's putting so much emphasis on the future, but even worse on the distant future. And we never get to enjoy the present. And we never get to appreciate where we've come from by looking at the past. But probably the bigger issue is that we never really focus on the present and enjoy the present. Gestalt therapists say that human tendency so often is to be preoccupied with the future. And that is a breeding ground for anxiety. Or getting preoccupied with the past, which is a breeding ground for depression. So let me show you how that works. Oh my gosh, this goal of 70 pounds I have to lose. It's so far in the future. What if I don't make it? What if I never get there? Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can make it. I can't be happy till I get that. Do you see the anxiety that those kind of future-oriented thoughts cause? It's a real problem. And focusing too much on the past can be really unhealthy too, in the sense that, you may have lost, let's say, 10, 20 pounds or what have you, and now you're looking behind. And rather than saying how great that is, look at where I came from, you're saying things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, I didn't start this sooner. What wasted time. I was 20 pounds heavier back then. And that was really bad. And I still have a lot more weight to lose, but what a waste of time. Or you might actually get to your goal and say, oh my gosh, all that time wasted. And I could have been looking like this. I could have been feeling like this. What a waste of all those years. And how are we going to feel about ourselves with those kind of thoughts? Pretty damn depressed. So Gestalt therapists say the best approach is to really try to focus on the present. And at the end of the day, that's what you have the most control over. We have zero control over the past. It happened. So we have to accept that. We have some control over the future, for sure, but not total control. But what's going on right now, right at this moment, we have the greatest amount of control. And so using that as a platform to say, okay, let's focus on what I can do right now to make myself feel good, to make myself healthier, to make myself feel productive, to make myself feel like I'm progressing and making steps towards fulfilling my potential. And this is the most important, enjoying the journey, being grateful that, wow, here I am driving to the gym. Isn't this awesome that I'm doing this right now? Here I am preparing a really healthy lunch. This is great. Here I am resisting my urges and cravings to have junk food because I'm feeling kind of crappy about myself. And instead, I'm using some healthy coping skills. Wow, what a difference compared to what I used to do. You want to use a past as a reference to kind of highlight how great your progress is. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You want to use the future as a reference to kind of show you where you're headed. Great. But the point here that Gestalt therapists are trying to teach us is don't over-focus on it. If anything, you should be over-focused on the present, or you should be putting a equivalent amount of focus on all three, past, future, and present. But really, if you can focus the most on the present, because that's what we control the most. Enjoy the journey. Don't just focus on the destination. And please don't say things like, I can't be happy until I get to my goal. I won't be happy until I get to my goal. How many times have people said that? You can say things like, I'm going to be really, really happy when I get to my goal, but I'm really happy that I'm en route to my goal. I wanted to put out this video because for people that are getting started, it can be really overwhelming, and it doesn't need to be. And rather than, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do, I really want you to switch to a mindset of gratitude. Oh, I'm so happy with myself that I started doing this work. This is great. And enjoying it, enjoying at the end of the night and saying, I made it to the gym today. I ate pretty darn healthy. I stuck to my plan pretty well. I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Enjoy the journey. Don't just focus on the goal. The journey is a goal in and by itself. This is Dr. Fields, and I'll have more to say on this at another time.